So now that we've discussed numerous methods and techniques to better your trading psychology, this session will provide a way to make it easier for you to actually implement all this stuff. And that's what it's really all about. It's implementing it in your trading in real life. And anything that can help us do that is something great to learn. So in my years of trading experience and from all the research I've done, I've found one simple method that is very effective in allowing you to have peak performance. And so let's talk about this method. One of the best ways to instill new habits, beliefs, and traits is to model someone who has them. Okay? If you've heard of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming, you'll know that one of its foundations and basis is all about modeling top performers, people who already do something well, finding out how they think and what their beliefs are, and modeling that and transferring it to others who want to learn. Now, this whole training program has in essence been a way for you to model correct thinking and strategies of good traders. But how do we take it a step further and allow you to actually instill all these things that you've learned? Well, let's discuss that. We're going to talk about how to model a world-class trader. The first thing you need to know is that this can be a real person or a mental construct. Okay, so what I need you to do here is either pick a trader, a world-class trader that you know, or it doesn't have to be someone that you know, maybe someone that you've heard about. Maybe you've watched a documentary about them and they just really impressed you. Or maybe you read one of those Market Wizards books and one of those traders really resonated with you and you felt, wow, this guy's a great trader and I'd like to be like them, right? That's one option. Or you can create a mental construct of what would a world-class trader be like, an imaginary person that you can use to model yourself against. I personally prefer a real person because it just feels, more real. In previous times when I was using this technique, I would imagine Paul Tudor Jones. I'm sure many of you have heard of him. One of the greatest traders in history, a market wizard, has made several $billion in the markets, owns his own hedge fund, and he had a documentary back in the 1980s called Trader. And when I first watched that, I was blown away by how confident, how aggressive he was, and it just came naturally that I wanted to model him. So when I'd be trading, I would think, how would Paul Tudor Jones trade right now? And even though I didn't really, know him, I would just assume certain things based on how I actually wanted to trade. You see, there's no rule saying that it has to be that person. You can just imagine them if they motivate you, right? But then you use the things that you would want to do correctly that you know, and because they're great traders, you can assume, well, they would do this and they would do that. And the whole idea is that this gives you motivation to do it too because you're modeling them in real time. They're the image that's in the back of your mind. And what you want to do is several things. And the first one is that you want to model their beliefs about trading. Again, if you know a real person and you already know all their beliefs about trading and you think they're amazing, that's great. You can just model them. But what I've tried to do in this training program is give you a lot of the correct beliefs about trading. So you already have all these now, and you could just take these and mentally attach them to that person, right? So let's assume you were modeling a great market wizard, or maybe just a great trader that you know. And so you think about the beliefs that you want to have about trading and you'd attach them to them. So you'd think, well, this person would not be scared of adversity. This person would actually relish it and thrive on it. This person could hold their trades for really large profits. And they believe that, they shouldn't always scale out. This person believes that losses are normal and a part of the game. This person believes that mistakes are okay and the ability to bounce back from them is the real defining characteristic. And you take all these things that you've learned from this training program and maybe other beliefs that they actually have or that you've heard that you think are very good for trading, and you attach them mentally to them. All right. And then you also model their thinking habits and their ability to deal with emotions. So again, everything you've learned, you attach those things to them mentally. Like this person would have incredible mental state control. They would be able to deal well with the emotions and not let them overtake them. They would be extremely self-aware and calm in the face of adversity. They would always be positive. They would be able to reframe anything very quickly. All right? And so you'd mentally attach that to the image of them too. And then you'd also model their body language and demeanor. Like, what do they look like when they're at the trading screens? What is their demeanor like? How confident do they look? Imagine them, taking a string of losses and just staying confident and not even budging, like it doesn't affect them. Imagine them having a large winner and not being scared to lose those profits and just staying there calmly, shoulders up, back up, chest out, and just really confident, right? And once you've combined all these things, right, whether you're attaching them to a real person, whether you already know a real trader that already thinks like this and is like this, or whether you're just mentally constructing potentially even a future version of you, if that works for you, right? Whatever works for you. And put all these characteristics and traits into this mental image of this person. Okay. And the idea is when you're trading, you want to pull up this image in your mind. And you want to have it in the back of your mind. And anytime you find it tough to do something, whether it's to reframe a thought or to actually take a trade or to stay positive after a loss or whatever it may be, you think about them. You think about this person that motivates you. And they become basically your role model. And your whole point is you want to trade like them. You want to be like them. For me, I wanted to be a world-class top trader that could be written about in the Market Wizards books, right? So I would envision Paul Tudor Jones and I would think, if I wanted to be like him, how would I trade? How would I think? And I would do it. That's how I built up these things. And I don't know why this form of modeling really works, but I just know that it does. And that's all that matters. It's easier to take something abstract that you need to learn and learn it by having a mental model of someone that's already like that. It's just easier for the brain to comprehend, and it's also more motivating if you can think about them and all the money they've made and how good they are, and that's just natural motivation for you to be like that. Okay, the athletes do it all the time. The great athletes look at their role models in the sport and they try to become like them. Michael Jordan did it with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and he wanted to be as good as them and better. Then Kobe Bryant did it with Michael Jordan, and that just propelled it. Now golfers are trying to do it with Tiger Woods, and so on. And it's just a natural way that human beings can really build skills and instill new beliefs, traits, behaviors faster. All right? So this is a short session, but it's a powerful session because it basically gives you a method that can really help you in your trading if you find it tough to actually do these things on your own. Now, on top of everything you've already learned, on top of all the different techniques and methods, you can imagine yourself aspiring to be like this mental image of someone. All right? And it really does help. So obviously this isn't a replacement for everything else. You've learned a lot of techniques and you've learned a lot of things, but this becomes the instigator to actually apply all those other things, right? So if you've learned about reframing, if you find it very hard to reframe when you're feeling down and you're in a negative state, maybe thinking about that person, that world-class trader, and how they would be, motivates you to actually now kick into the reframing. Maybe thinking about them dealing with emotions motivates you to do it right. Right? And that's the idea. This could be the thing that kickstarts the process for you. All right? And anything that can help you get into that peak performance mindset is something that you should use. Simple as that. And if you really want to take this to the next level, then what you can do is to envision yourself as a trader you want to be. So numerous psychological studies have actually been done on this particular subject, where the participants of the study had certain traits and they wanted to develop different traits than those. For instance, let's say someone is really shy, right? What some experiments have been done and shown is that if this shy person models someone who's outgoing and not shy, but not only do they model them, they actually role play as if they are like them. So in this experiment, what they need to do is actually go out in the world and envision themselves as already that person now, not something they want to become. They are that now, and they have to act like that, as if almost like they're a different person. And what's been found is that this is one of the fastest ways to produce change in a person. Because what ends up happening is that as this shy person goes out into the world and pretends, quote unquote, or acts as if they're an actor, or just does role play that they're not like this person, that they're someone else who's not shy and all that, they get a reaction from people, right? The outside environment reacts to this new them that they're pretending or acting to be. And usually they get positive feedback. Previously they were shy and they didn't interact with people and they always thought that people didn't like them. Now that they're forced to role play that they're not, even if it's just an act, what ends up happening is that the people in the real world don't know this is just an act, don't know this is an experiment, and they respond to this person in a good way. This person is being outgoing, they respond to them favorably, they ask them to go places, they introduce them to other friends, and all of a sudden this person now has a bigger social circle. And what ends up happening is after some time, if they continue to do this, funny enough, it no longer becomes an act. They actually pick up these traits that they've been acting with, and they realize that they can actually be like this. And all the positive reinforcement kind of builds these habits in their mind where they don't want to go back to that old way, and gradually it just becomes who they are. So if we take that to the world of trading, what if you actually envisioned yourself to be now, not in the future, but now already the trader who you want to be in the future? Okay? And so other than just modeling a great trader that you know or that you've heard of and all the things about them and letting it motivate you to do the right things, what about also role playing in your mind that you already are this trader? What about entering the day thinking the thoughts that you'd be thinking, feeling like you'd be feeling, behaving like you'd behaving if you were already that trader, and truly believing it, assuming that this is something that you have to do. You can do anything that makes it real for you. Assume that you were thrown into one of the best hedge funds in the world and they thought you are a great trader and you had to act like it based on, of course, a lot of the real skills that you already know and a lot of the things that you've been learning and you're developing, but they expected you to act like that great trader, to take those great trades, to not be scared to let winners turn into losers, to be able to easily bounce back. And what if you pretended that you were actually that trader? How would that change your trading? Well, I can tell you it can make a big difference. And if you've studied any of the great texts of psychology, you'll have heard the saying that we become what we think. Okay, we become what we think about. And if all you're thinking is that you are this great trader, even if your results don't show it yet. We're not talking about results, we're talking about process. Remember, it's all about process. The results will follow naturally. But if you're thinking you are this great trader and you're acting like it and you're doing the right things, this can massively accelerate your path towards actually becoming that trader. We become what we think about, and you will become that trader much faster if you allow yourself to believe that you already are them and you act in a manner consistent with this belief. And that's what it's all about. It's acting in the manner consistent with that belief. And what starts to happen when you do this is that just like that shy person in the experiment, when they acted not shy and they did that role play, they started actually getting positive feedback from others in their environment. You'll start getting positive feedback from the trading environment, from the market. When you convince yourself and you believe and you act and role play as if you are that great trader that you've always wanted to be, and you act in ways consistent with this belief, you'll naturally get rewarded. You start literally making more money. It's inevitable when you're doing the right things. And it doesn't take much. If just in one instant you act more confident than you usually would be because you are saying to yourself, I'm already that trader, and how would that trader act? Then maybe you do take that great trade, or you bounce back quickly from those losses, or you hold that winner extra and you make a lot more money. And each time this happens, that's positive reinforcement that tells your mind and yourself to keep doing that. And so you naturally start doing more of that, and sooner or later it stops being an act. So, that saying, fake it till you make it, well, it really works in certain instances like this. And just like that shy person fakes it until it becomes normal to them, the more you do this, the more positive feedback, the more normal it becomes to you, and it won't feel like an act anymore. It'll be natural to think like that with time. So this is just a great proven way to accelerate your progress. And when you combine it with modeling someone who's already that good that you want to be like, it can really help you achieve that state of peak performance more regularly. And that's what it's really all about.